Welcome to this brand new photo editing section of the Photography Masterclass. In this section, we're going to be learning how to edit your photos with Adobe Photoshop. Photoshop is the world's leading platform for photo editing and graphic design. And in this video, I'm going to talk about who should really use Photoshop, why we're starting with Photoshop, and how to get it and how to get a free trial of it, because it can be a little pricey if you are paying for it. First, I want to explain that this is going to be used for Photoshop CC, which is the latest Creative Cloud version of Photoshop. There is a version of Photoshop called Photoshop Elements, which is more of a beginner, sort of dumbed down version of Photoshop CC. We might add a section of using Photoshop Elements to this course as well. And why are we starting with Photoshop? Well, it's great for Mac or PC users. Some of the tools we use in this class are just for Mac or just for PC. And so it's great for anybody that wants to get started. Plus, when I sent out before creating this course a survey asking people what photo editing applications they would most like to use, Photoshop was the overwhelming majority, the highest ranking platform that people were using. So that's why we're starting it now. If you're not using Photoshop, feel free to skip this section and go to a section of this course that is more applicable to you. So how do you get Photoshop? Well, you would want to go to the Adobe website, adobe.com, and to go straight to the Photoshop page, it's adobe.com/products/photoshop.html. Here you can purchase it or you can get a free trial, which is a 7-day free trial. And if you want to buy it, you can buy it with a Creative Cloud subscription. So the way that Adobe works now is that you have to purchase a subscription, a monthly subscription, to get their applications. They have different plans. They have a photography plan, which gets you Photoshop, Lightroom, and Lightroom Classic. Or if you want all of their apps that include other things like Illustrator and Premiere Pro and After Effects and all kinds of other ones, it's this one for $50 a month. If you're a student at a high school or a university, you should be able to get it for the student and teacher price. For students online, I don't think you're going to be able to get that student price, but if you do go to school, you can get that price. So really quickly, we also have sections of this course on Lightroom Classic CC and Lightroom CC. Those are great photo editors too, and I do actually recommend Lightroom Classic CC if you're going to be a professional photo editor or photographer. It's what I prefer for editing a lot of photos at once, and I'll talk about that more in that section of the course. But it's also good to know Photoshop because Photoshop is better at some things compared to Lightroom. So I don't want to talk too long, so go ahead and skip to the next lesson where we get started with actually using Photoshop. But make sure that you download the practice photos. I've included downloadable folders of photos for each of the sections. And so you'll find a Photoshop folder at the beginning of this section, which should be actually in this video's supplemental materials that include raw photo files and JPEG photo files. The thing with, that's a scary photo of Sam. The thing with Photoshop is that you can edit both raw or JPEG images, but you edit them in a really different way. And I'm going to walk you through all of that. So go ahead and download the sample files and then install Photoshop CC. The version of Photoshop that I'm using and will be using in this class is let's go ahead and see which version of Photoshop is the 19.1.2 version. This came out in 2018 when we recorded this class. You might be using an older version. You might be using a newer version. Don't worry about that. Most of what you do and most of the process of editing photos in Photoshop will be the same, especially in all versions of the Creative Cloud version of Photoshop. If you're using a CS6 or a CS5 version or something from the past, it might look a little bit different. You might not have all the effects and styles and tools that we have in the newer version. And in the future, if you're using version 2025, if this class is still available, then you might have a couple new options for yourself. but the basic process should be the same. If there's any major updates, I'll make sure to update these lessons with those updates to them. Cool, so go ahead and do all that, and we'll see you in the next lesson.